afternoon to all the eminent speakers as well as the honorable jury members, and I wish everyone a very fantastic and a lovely International Women's Day celebration. I see several women experts as well as entrepreneurs out here, and it is really a pleasure having all of them for this esteemed seminar. As I'm closely associated with the Modi government and the ruling party, like my association goes very deep and long. So like I would be focusing on this issue, taking into consideration the views of the government of India and the initiative of the government of India, especially of the Honorable Prime Minister, and how things are moving and what needs to be done as such, So let me start with the topic itself. Of course, it is a very important day, the International Women's Day as such. So I think on such a lovely occasion, like we need to put across quite a few number of things which are, our initiative of the government of India and which needs to be highly focused, and it needs to be spread across the nook and corner of the country, especially through institutions like that of yours. And since there are leading women experts out here. So I think it's very important for us to deliberate on this important issue as such. After the change of the government in 2014, when the Honorable Prime Minister took over the oath, like the Prime Minister initiated quite a lot of new initiatives as such. To start with, he started with the global and the national campaign in relation to Swachh Bharat Abhiyan. Now, Swachh Bharat Abhiyan is something which is very closely related to children of our country and the women of our country. They play a very important role in relation to Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, because the Prime Minister always says that, it is ultimately the mother, the sister, and the daughters of our country who should lead this campaign, because ultimately hygiene, whether it's home hygiene or whether it's society hygiene or social hygiene, a lot depends on the contribution of the women folk of our country as such. So when this initiative started, a part and parcel of this initiative, a big component of this university initiative was the woman population of our country as such, So, and the campaigning is going on in a very big level across the nook and corner of the country, and several women, whether working women, whether entrepreneurs, whether people from the social field, social activists, academic, people from the academics, people from the media, very many people from the glamour world and all, who are women, they are all working as brand ambassadors in relation to this campaign. And this campaign of the government of India has become the most prominent and perhaps the biggest social campaign in relation to Swachhata, in relation to cleanliness of the society, of the country, the neighborhood, and the home as such. It is the biggest campaign in the whole world as such. And this campaign has come into record books of several international organizations, which does in, which gives in records in relation to any big initiative as such. And till date, this campaigning has been very successful. Several of the state governments have become a part and parcel of this campaign. And a large component of this campaign is actually the daughters and the sisters and mothers of our country as such. And the government of India has allocated a huge amount of resources in relation to this campaign, and there is a plethora of scope for the women folk of our country to be a part and parcel of this campaign as such. To cite in some important ministries which are coordinating the efforts in relation to Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, one is the Ministry of Women, Child and Family Welfare, which is one of the pivotal ministry which is handling this campaigning. Besides that, Niti Aayog is of course a part and parcel of this campaign initiative as such. The Ministry of Small Scale, Medium and Cottage Industry, Ministry of Rural Development, and the Ministry of Agriculture and Ministry of Education, Government of India, are a part and parcel of this campaigning. They are in fact nodal agencies in relation to this campaigning. So I'm sure sure many young women entrepreneurs and many women delegates must be listening this August gathering. I would suggest them that they should look into the website of these respective ministries which I have spoken about. There are a plethora of schemes which are there, and these schemes can be applied for. It can be done online itself and through online registration as such, and I mean, they can become a part and parcel of this initiative as such. Second is like together with that, the recent budget of the government of India has come up with two important schemes. One is in relation to the Aushadhiya scheme, and the other one is in relation to the Khadyan scheme, in relation to the young children as such, infants who are between between 1 month to 5 years old as such. A separate allocation has been allocated in the budget for this two campaign as such, because government of India feels that, like, I mean, if if the population of the country has to excel in every field, and if the younger generation of our country has to excel in every field, then it is very, very important that the mother of our country, the mothers as well as the daughters and sisters of our country, they should be very, very healthy, and they should be strong enough to work in plethora of fields, in plethora of organizations as such. So therefore, this important scheme in relation to the Aushadhiya scheme of the government of India under the new budget, which is specially meant for mothers, and especially for prenatal and postnatal care as such, and also for pregnant mothers as such, those who are in their advanced stage of pregnancy, as to how to make them more immune in relation to the requirements of the body as such. So this scheme has been initiated by the government of India. It will be operational from the first week of April, from the 1st of April, once the new financial year starts. Together with that, for the infants also, for the kids as such, I mean, for the children from 1 month to 5 years old, there is another separate scheme which is correlated to this scheme, that is highly, highly beneficial for the immunity booster and for immunity increasement of the toddlers as such. So this is another special scheme which the government of India has initiated under the new budget. This will again be operational from the first week of April as such. The Ministry of Health, Family Welfare and Ministry of Child, Women and Family Welfare is the main ministry which will be the main nodal agency, which will be like advocating and coordinating this scheme at the all India level, of course in collaboration with the Ministry of Agriculture, Ministry of Education, and the Ministry of Rural Development as such, and MSME ministry as such. They would be ancillary ministries who would be coordinating the efforts as such. Together with that, if you look into Atmanirbhar Bharat and Unnat Bharat, the Honorable Prime Minister always says that, I mean, if India has to be Atmanirbhar, if India has to be Unnat, then it is very, very important that the women folk of our country, they become Atmanirbhar and they become Unnat as such. In the last 2.5 years, during the time of the pandemic, like, I mean, when the whole world was devastated and India was no exception as such, but within that pandemic itself, there were several startup companies, which came up at the ground level, and initiated by young girls and by young boys of our country as such. And half of those startup companies were actually led by the women folk of our country, by the female forces of our country. Out of almost around 1,500 to 2,000 unicorns which have come up in the last two years or so during the time of the pandemic from by all these beginners as startup companies, are this 1,500 to 2,000 unicorns, they are today having a profit of around 500 CR to almost around 2,000 CR and CR annually. And out of those 1,500 to 2,000 unicorns and super unicorns, half of them are led, and half of them are like controlled and operationalized by the women folk of our country, by young girls who are graduate from universities, from colleges as such. So this is a remarkable achievement in relation to Atmanirbhar Bharat and Unnat Bharat. The Honorable Prime Minister always says that
Just,
if the woman, just give me another 2 to 3
yeah,
minutes,
sure. We
because
just need, yeah. So I was just saying, can we just move to closing remarks?
I
Just
know
one more minute.
I'm speaking on behalf of the government, so give me another 2 minutes as such, because these
Sure.
are something which all the viewers needs to know as such. These are very important areas of domain as such. So just give me 2 more minutes, please. So what I'm saying is, like, this is something which is very, very vital as such, because the Honorable Prime Minister says that if India has to be unnat, if India has to be Atmanirbhar, then it is very important that the women folk of our country should be Atmanirbhar and they should be unnat as such. And that's the reason why he advocates so much about Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao as such. And Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao is a very, very important scheme of the government of India as such. And there are several schemes which are under these schemes as such. And I will suggest the young women entrepreneurs of our country to be associated with those schemes. Your esteemed organization, your esteemed institution is very, very vital for coordinating in relation to all these schemes as such. I would suggest that you all should become a pivotal nodal agency for collaborating in relation to the efforts of the government of India, so that we can make the women of our country, super active and super self-reliant as such, because we all understand that if India has to become a superpower of the 21st century for the Asia Pacific division and for the whole world, then the women folk of our country needs to be Atmanirbhar and they need to be self-reliant and unnat as such. So I would appeal to your institution that, you should coordinate with the different schemes of the government of India, and also should collaborate with me in relation to synchronizing our efforts, so that we can develop a healthy future for our younger generation and for our future generation as such. Whatever help is needed from my side for this collective effort, I'm always there available for you all. I wish you all the best, and I wish all other speakers a very wonderful International Women's Day celebration. And I'm sure you all will be excelling more in relation to our endeavors. My best wishes with all of you. Good luck. It was lovely talking to you. Vande Mataram, Bharat Mata Ki Jai. Thank you so much.